Montgomery County's dynamic nonprofit community helps families navigate life's most difficult challenges. CaringMatters relies on trained, compassionate volunteers to provide direct services and support to every level of the organization. A large volunteer workforce, along with a small, dedicated staff, public and private funding partners, and generous philanthropists, provide the necessary resources to fulfill their critical mission. CaringMatters volunteers share the deeply personal impact of their work, providing compassionate support for those experiencing serious illness, caregiving challenges, and grief. Their inspiring stories highlight the true power of volunteerism.
So my name's Lauren.
My name is Jigisha McWilliams.
My name is Lorraine Thomas.
My name is Brendan O'Connell.
So to be perfectly honest with you, we would not be able to do the work that we do without volunteers. We are very volunteer-based, and it is extremely exciting to be able to work with a passionate group of people who are not only giving of their talents, but giving of their time. It's very difficult to find someone who has volunteered for less than 5 years.
He seems to lift things up for me, you know, and just hang in there, Michael. It's gonna work, because I've come pretty close to not making it, you know, the way I felt and everything, but he always pops me back up, you know, just through talks and, you know, things like that. He's like my, I guess I would say, second father. I mean, really, that's how I feel about him.
Passion, commitment, understanding, and not being afraid of challenge. You know, a part of the process with support groups, there may be some challenges that arise.
Do's and don'ts. What would you say for the group leader are some key do's and don'ts in addition to confidentiality?
Don't tell people how to feel.
Amen.
That probably should be number one. Never, ever, ever, ever tell a person how to feel. Never compare grief narratives.
I know.
And don't say, oh, Susan, you know, your story reminds me of Johnny, because it makes people feel a certain way, and, oh, I should be further along in my process, or what's wrong with me, or...
Oh my gosh, you're the first person to bring that up, and that's hugely important.
I had my first experience with the dying process about 3 years ago when my mom was in the final stages of fighting cancer. I was her primary caregiver for about a little over a year before she passed away. And I just remember thinking that the entire process was just so incredibly hard. It was so apparent that I just would not have been able to get through it the way I did if it wasn't for the mass amount of family, friends, and other support that I had. So at that time, I really started wondering what people did who didn't have this sort of support system. So I'm a volunteer with the Volunteer Helping Hands program. So I'm currently working with a woman who lost her husband about a year ago, was his primary caregiver for several years, and is now coming to terms with her own mortality. I really seek to be a resource for anything she needs. Physically, I'm there to help her with groceries and changing air conditioning filters. And we've developed this great relationship where it's primarily her telling me about her past life and about her loves, her losses, her life's experiences, what she's learned. And I think it's given us both such a different perspective on life. It's been great, but really what is so apparent is how little you have to do to make these people's lives so much better. Even, you know, I try to call her almost every day.
Was just calling to check in on you.
Just to check in, and I didn't call for 2 days once, and she was like, I thought you forgot about me.
If I don't hear from you, I will just come over and check on you. I promise it will never just go a week that nobody knows if you're okay.
And I'm just so happy to hear your voice again. And the change in her voice from when she initially picked up the phone to when we got off the phone was tangible. I mean, it was amazing. And it was so clear that all she needed was a friend to talk to.
I've been a nurse for 21 years. I actually was on a walk with a friend, and we were discussing and talking about just as a nurse what I wanted to do in my life. And she happened to come across an email. It was CaringMatters, and they were looking for a nurse. And that brought me to Camp Erin. The compassion that the counselors had.
Then you can walk, there's steps right here. And then you're gonna walk up towards that path and head on up.
How no matter what, every child was just addressed with such compassion. And you could tell that there was this love for that job that really I was impressed with.
This is a good time to reflect on what we're doing here and why we did these luminaries. Luminaries are a really good chance for us to say something to the people that we've lost. There's always things I think we could say to the loved ones that we've lost, and so that's what this is an opportunity for us to do.
My name is Lily and I lost my father.
My name is Matthew and I lost my mother.
My brother died this year and I lost my grandma.
In this camp, just the idea of when a child is struggling, just sitting next to them, and you may not say one word to them, but just the fact that you show them you care by just when they're tearful or they're sad, you're just next to them. Those little things I do believe matter, and you may not hear anything, but then at the end of the weekend, you get a hug, and you just know that whatever you did, whether it was just walk with them, talk to them, or just sat there, it made a difference.
Yesterday I lost my granny and my 3 dogs, Smalley, Poochie, and Little Bitty.
And so often, especially when children lose their parent at a young age, they carry that all their life. The program I'm connected with here at CaringMatters is the Good Grief Club. What really amazed me is how strong those students were. For children to suffer, and the adults in their lives are not always prepared to help them through this process. Children need a good grief club, an adult, someone in their life that they can go to. Unless you have walked in someone's shoes, you have no idea what loss, death, grief, bereavement is all about. You have resources, utilize them. Just don't keep them in your folder and tuck them away. And it's healthy for you to share what's going on, and tears are also healthy. And you can be going along and today could be fine. Then all of a sudden you have an ambush, but you have tools to use to get through that process.
And I started volunteering, I believe, in October after the training, and really just watch the volunteers and the staff here live and breathe their mission. Thinking about how my volunteer work and volunteer helping hands has impacted me on a personal level.
And I just hit it off when we met Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Did a vegan Thanksgiving basket for you, and that's when we met. It really solidified this idea that connection is the most important thing.
We talked, you all finished putting everything in the baskets, and then you and Marie walked me out and helped me with the car.
A big part about working with the clients that we work with is giving them the space to talk about whatever they want to. So my experience with CaringMatters has been, we have been a lot of those people that sit down and take the time to listen to people. I mean, I have gotten so much joy out of getting to know this person. We would laugh all the time. And someone allowing you into their lives like that, I think is such a gift. That's how we really build a relationship.
When you know that you can call on people, help you out, give you a ride to your doctor, it's just wonderful.
What I would say to someone that potentially wants to volunteer for CaringMatters is...
Come.
You will not regret it. That's the first thing.
Don't be scared.
I think everyone should volunteer. I think that is a part of your life that is so fulfilling.
I was so nervous about knowing the right thing to say. That was my biggest concern. They teach you in the training to listen with your heart, and it might sound cliche, but it is so valuable.
For me personally, I feel like that grows your heart.
Just to volunteer with children, there's something about a child and their innocence and what they teach us as adults.
I'm literally a better person for doing that training.
And I think that's, for me, it's also really great that, you know, I get a smile after the end of it, or they know that they can come to me and feel better. I did my job. I did what I was supposed to do, and it makes me feel so good about myself.
If you have any inkling of interest, try it out, and you'll be a different person as a result.
And if you really want to have an impact on people, on children, on your community, then Caring Matters. It is fabulous.